Many of you are familiar with Nathan Oakley, so let's listen as he explains one of the reasons that he knows the Earth is flat, and let's see if this follows the rigorous scientific method that he demands of any globe evidence. Now, this is from a video that was linked in a comment to me as proof of the flat Earth, so let's take a listen.
Excuse of a mirage that you've had.
Well, the mirage is an interesting one because this is probably one of my favourite points to make as a flat earther, especially when someone says there's no proof of flat Earth. So I'll give you an example. We'll use Ranty and one of his images. So he has a picture of a clock tower at about 20 miles at Barrow-in-Furness, and it's just a picture of a clock. Now, as a flat earther, I look at this picture and say, clock at 20 miles. That's the end of my explanation. As a flat earther, I can make that statement. I'll say it again. Clock at 20 miles.
So there you have it. Clock at 20 miles. That's the end of my explanation. The Earth is flat. Oh, but wait, there is more. There, of course, is the diatribe against the globers.
Now, if you're a fundamentalist religious zealot, then that's not a clock at 20 miles. That would be a slightly looming, non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of a clock from behind the reified edge of a sphere based on an R value and a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator to turn a clock which seems to be there into a clock which is not actually there. That's what you have to assert if you're a globehead. So it's not a clock, it's a holographic projection of a clock from behind the reified edge of an Earth curve based on a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. As opposed to me, that's a globehead explanation. I say clock, 20 miles.
You're the man, Nath. You are the man. I love the way it's the way you taste, the way you say it.
Well, there you have it, an example of Nathan's flat Earth scientific method. But you know what, Nathan? I would agree with you. Yes, that is a real clock. Those are real buildings, and those are not holographic projections. So imagine if I came on your show and said, now as a glober, I look at this picture and say, clock at 20 miles, that's the end of my explanation. Kaboom! You would literally have an aneurysm. But of course, I look at this photo and I see a few more things. I see a ship that appears to be on the horizon. And are these buildings on the shoreline? So I went to the source. This is Ranty's video, Barrow-in-Furness, and actually it is only 17 miles away. Now, I'm not going to play the video, but this is a screenshot, and this is typical of what Ranty sees as he pans across the horizon. You'll see areas where you see buildings and structures, and then there's also areas where you see absolutely nothing. Now, there is an interior mirage, and I do agree with flat earthers that it's going to hide the bottom of those distant buildings. I think we also need to realize is that this mirage is not very thick. This is the thickness of it compared to that clock. So you can see it is not hiding very much. So I went to Google Earth, and this is Randy's line of sight from Fleetwood to that clock tower. And the first thing I notice is down here, his line of sight actually goes across this little spit of land. It's very low elevation at the high point between 50 and 30 feet, but you don't see this in the video. Now up here on the top, I have a yellow line that goes across all the built up area. It starts over here in Walney and ends over in Roos. And the elevation along this line, except across this river here, ranges between 40 to 60 feet. Now the clock tower is actually the Barrow-in-Furness Town Hall, and you can see on the red circle down here, it is 164 feet tall. So this is both a picture and a drawing of this clock tower. I have scaled them so everything is in alignment. So from the base to the top is 164 feet. So I scaled a ruler to this photograph at 164 feet, and I'm going to use this to compare it to Ranty's video to get an idea of what we are and are not seeing. But next I need an elevation. So this is that yellow line that I drew across. On the bottom here you can see the elevation profile. The dotted line is at 60 feet. And the elevation I was getting in this area was between 59 and 62 feet. So here I have added a 60-foot hill to this drawing, and we can see that the top of the tower is now 224 feet above sea level. So here I've scaled my photograph to Ranty's video, and I'm using the roof line to the left of this clock tower because it appears that the roof line to the right is a different set of buildings. Now you can see that I have the roof aligned and I have the clock aligned, but the top is not aligned. So I would assume that there is refraction distortions going on in Ranty's video. Now I tried this way too. In this case I have the top aligned and I have the roof aligned. And I also scaled this on the far right with the top aligned and the clock aligned. But you can see the two on the right have a lot more hidden. So I'm going to use the more conservative one on the left. Now I think it is pretty obvious that this actually supports the globe, but I want to get some hidden values and compare them to the curvature calculator. Now of course I'm not going to use the Mirage, which gives about 113 feet of hidden. So I drew the horizon across the part where we see solid water. You can actually see some waves that are bouncing up above this horizon line. And now we have 135 feet that are visible and 89 feet that are hidden. So now the next question is, what is Ranty's elevation? So he claims that he was at 6 feet. But this is a shot when Ranty was in wide angle. And look to the left over here. I mean, he is quite a distance from that water. And another thing to notice is how the sand slopes down. Now, I drew this line in to help you see this. So look to the right. Ranty is up at this elevation, and it is quite obvious that this sand slopes down to the water. But even more damning is something that I caught in the video clip. Now take a look where this arrow is, because you're going to see an individual right there. You see a person walking by. Now we know that the horizon will be at Ranty's eye level, so I think it's pretty obvious that he is a little bit higher than 6 feet above that water. Now I scaled these figures to the individual in the video and put a ruler on here. And if that person was about 6 foot tall, his eye level would be at about 10.5 feet. Now, if the person was 5 foot tall, his eye level would be at about 9 feet. But also remember, this individual is also quite a ways from the water. So I think a 9 foot eye level is a very good estimation, and this is what I will use. So I'm using the Metabump curve calculator, and I have a distance of 17 miles and a viewer height of 9 feet. So that gives a standard refracted hidden of 97 feet. And a geometric hidden of 118 feet. And again, I've estimated that there is 89 feet hidden. So the globe's standard refraction error is 8 feet, which is 97 feet minus 89 feet. And that is almost a match. The globe geometric error is 29 feet, or 118 feet minus 89 feet. Now a flat earther would look at this and start ranting, "This is not a perfect match with the curvature calculator, so you have proved the earth is flat." Well, there's one thing flat earthers never do. What would we expect to see on a flat earth? What is the flat earth error? Well, that is 89 feet, so the flat earth is dead last. But let's compare this to Ranty's underestimated 6 foot observer height. Now we have a refractive hidden of 108 feet and a geometric hidden of 130 feet. But again, the standard refraction error is 19 feet, the geometric error is 41 feet, and dead last is the flat earth error at 89 feet. Now I'm even going to try this again by scaling this picture to the roof that is on the right hand side. And now we only have 73 feet of hidden. At a 9-foot observer height, the refracted air is 24 feet, the geometric air 45 feet, and again in last place is the flat earth air at 73 feet. And even if I do this for the 6-foot elevation, the refraction air is 35 feet, the geometric air is 57 feet, and again at dead last is the flat earth at 73 feet. So I think it is quite evident that this video supports the globe. I used a wide variety of different measurements to compare both the flat earth and the globe model to this video, and in every case the flat earth came in dead last. Now what I really don't understand is both Nathan and Ranty live in this area. So you think they would know that this clock tower sits on top of a hill. And you think they would understand that when they looked at this video that this definitely was not evidence of a flat earth. So why would they believe in a flat earth? Well, I think I know the reason why. I see a clock, therefore the earth is flat. Now we also know that Nathan has a long list of fallacies that he uses to refute any globe evidence, but I'm going to wrap this one up and just call it a complete ignorance fallacy. Both Nathan and Ranty don't do any critical thinking at all. They have a narrative, and no matter what they see, the narrative is the earth is flat.